Oh, Meghan's Rotten Tomato score is terrible. It's a 33% on the tomato meter from critics, and it's only 20% on the popcorn meter.
Oh, it's happened again. Another Meghan Markle bowel movement. Project. Another controversy. Oh, but this time it's not just the critics, it's not just the trolls on social media, and it's not just the public side-eyeing the whole thing. It's the streaming giant itself. Yepperoonies, Meghan's cooking meets lifestyle meets celebrity meets I'm a phony. With love, Meghan has officially flopped worse than a Magikarp on steroids. And behind the scenes, things are reportedly getting kinda messy. We're talking tension, NDA whispers, and some pretty serious buyer's remorse from Netflix that once handed her a multi-million-dollar deal. You know what they say, burn me once, shame on you, burn me twice, shame on me, burn me 3 times, maybe stop giving her money, Netflix. Oakley dokley, so what's really going on here? Is Netflix finally pulling the plug? Is this the moment the Meghan Markle media machine starts to collapse even harder than it has been? Well, join me today, because we're breaking down what's gone wrong with Love Meghan and what it says about her future in the industry. Spoiler alert, it's not good.
Netflix bosses are severing ties with the Sussexes. In other words, up until now, they've had a very lucrative contract, and from now on, or fairly soon, they won't have a contract.
Let's go back to 2020, when Meghan and Harry landed that monster Netflix deal. A cool $100 million for what exactly again? Now, at the time, they promised the works. Documentaries, kid shows, feel-good stories, Brian. The full royal media empire. And in return, Netflix got that sex sparkle. Well, that sparkle's fading faster than my toilet after a combination of Taco Bell, Popeyes, and KFC. Harry and Meghan, a docuseries that brought drama and eye rolls. You know, like most of their other projects, they've either flopped or they've vanished or they've just been quietly shelved. And now, Meghan's shiny new project, With Love Meghan, is just the latest addition to that growing list of royal duds. And that's not really super surprising, to be honest. I mean, come on, Meghan Markle with all that sense of entitlement, narcissism, and, whatever, she's basically Starscream, but uglier. She wanted to relate to the entire common class. Well, she tried, but nobody bought it, a lot like her products. The critics thrashed her, calling it bland, disconnected, and a PR vehicle disguised as a television show. Some even compared it to Pamela Anderson's Pamela's Garden of Eden, which I am still on board with that name, which apparently did a way better job delivering authenticity. Go Pam!
I think about the 2 places of a guest experience once they've gone into their room. What's at the side of the bed for them? That's their good morning and good night moment. And what is in the bathroom for them so they can have a beautiful soak, a nice bath at the end of the night.
Following the cold reception, reports began surfacing that Meghan had entered into talks with Netflix. According to insiders, the streaming platform is feeling pressure over the return of investment of its $100 million deal with the Sussexes. Insiders told outlets like Radar Online that the couple is under the gun to deliver something that truly hits. And Netflix, making the same mistake twice, is aiming to give it another shot with the 2nd season of the super flop show. That is definitely a far-fetched and obviously insane idea even for Netflix. Guys, come on, if you're looking to waste money on tax write-offs, just invest in the stock market like the rest of us. God.
Well, listen, here's the thing, though. She treated us to this Instagram post. Oh, my show, With Love Meghan, is so successful that Netflix has commissioned a 2nd series. No, they haven't. No, they haven't. They already had a 2nd series in the can, and they're going to put it out, stick it out.
Look, the show was bound to be a disaster. I mean, what was Netflix even thinking of launching the overly polished Meghan, who's not even close to a real person that can relate to anybody, other than her own head stuck where the sun don't shine. Between the perfectly arranged produce, color-coordinated kitchenware, and carefully rehearsed lines, oh, she's a thespian. The show lacked that raw, relatable energy that people expect from lifestyle content today.
This is so divorced from reality. Look, life is aspirational, and I love a cooking program. I'm happily sit down and watch whatever, because I quite like it. But what I want to see is a degree of authenticity from reality. Look, you've been talking about on this program about the cost of living, whether it be our energy price.
And remember, this is supposed to be the authentic Meghan, the one who left the palace for a simpler life. But when the show dropped, a lot of viewers just saw a $15,000 kitchen and a curated set, not a cozy home.
It's boring.
And it just looks, to me, fake.
And let's not forget the elephant in the room. It's what elephants sound like in my head. I'm talking about those NDA rumors. So word on the street is that Meghan's been slapping non-disclosure agreements on anybody who steps foot near her set. Guests, crew, maybe even the catering team, just to keep her image squeaky clean. It's like she took a page out of Trump's playbook, which is kind of funny because he drags her all the time. It's all over the comment sections, gossip sites and clickbaity headlines, and honestly, it really wouldn't be that shocking. The drama picked up right after she launched her lifestyle brand, As Ever, part of her Netflix series, Withlovemeghan. And just like the show, the brand got dragged online super hard. Critics slammed it for being tone-deaf, overpriced, and totally out of touch with normal people.
Coming soon, the one who costs $9 without the keepsake, of course. Flower sprinkles, $15. $15. This costs?
And yet, all those pricey items were labeled as sold out within an hour. Seems like a success. Meghan, who said. However, the experts suspect this is merely a marketing ploy designed to create a false sense of urgency, making it seem like the product is incredibly popular and sells out rapidly.
So products were produced in small quantities of inventory so that they can claim she sold out quickly. This was the Kardashians' move for the longest time. It's easy to sell out if you don't have a lot of product available in the first place. The strategy is called scarcity marketing or artificial scarcity.
According to an insider, Meghan is using her close friends to paint social media platforms with positive comments about her products. Talking with the Daily Mall, another insider said, "So why are these NDAs freaking people to F out, man? Like, sure, Hollywood runs on NDAs. It's basically built on the things, but what's happening here goes way beyond normal, man." Insiders say even the low-level production assistants had to sign ironclad agreements. No leaks, no whispers, not even a hint about the tiniest creative decision. It's kind of like she borrowed a move from Trump's playbook, which is funny because the guy does nothing but drag her. Total lockdown. I'm talking Disney style, man. Total image control, and that's the kicker, because with Love, Meghan is being sold as this warm, emotional peek into Meghan's home life, her family, her food, her heartfelt vibes, all that nonsense. Oh, but behind the scenes, it sounds more like a PR war room than a lifestyle show. Critics argue that the aggressive use of NDAs undermines the very premise of authenticity. I mean, come on. If a show is really, truly personal and heartfelt, why is there a need to muzzle every single crew member and keep them from talking about it? And in an era where viewers crave transparency and genuine storytelling and not garbage AI slop, this approach risks alienating the very audience that Meghan is hoping to win over. All these behind-the-scenes rules have only made things even worse. At this point, with Meghan, doesn't feel like a warm invite into her world. It feels like a staged showroom. Pretty to look at, but totally fake and out of touch like most supermodels from the early 90s. In short, the excessive NDA enforcement isn't just about secrecy. It's become symbolic of the growing disconnect between Meghan's carefully curated image and how that image is actually, created and perceived. And so now Netflix is stuck. I would care more if they'd bring Colony back. Just saying, I want a final season. Anyway, they've got this high-profile couple under contract, one whose content isn't exactly performing. They've invested millions and the world is watching. If they pull the plug, they risk public backlash from suck-sack supporters, all 5 of them. And if they keep funding them, then they risk public backlash from suck-sacks haters, like half the world. And of course they risk, bleeding money worse than they already are because they didn't bring back Colony, just saying. Some insiders say Netflix is trying to steer the couple into more mainstream, less personal brand territory. In other words, less royal memoir, more universal storytelling.
Maybe Netflix might have an idea for her, but they'll do it on a show-to-show basis. There won't be any more cover-all, comfortable, lucrative contracts. That contract is going to get axed.
So way back in the early days, 2020, while signing the contract with Netflix, the couple had proudly announced, and yet nearly 5 years into the deal, there's very little evidence to support the original mission. No children's programming has materialized, no inspirational family content, no educational or hopeful series geared toward new parents, despite that being a major talking point in their announcement. Instead, the majority of their output has remained squarely centered on their personal narratives, their lifestyle branding, and their image management. Look at me, senpai, notice me! Will Meghan play ball? Time will tell. But as of right now, Withlovemeghan is not the hit they were hoping for, and the pressure here is very real. Now, part of the problem is that Meghan's brand is kind of it's saturated worse than, Bill Maher videos on YouTube. Like, she's an advocate, a duchess, a podcaster, a chef, a lifestyle guru, a philanthropist, an influencer, former actress. Oh my god, stop talking. She's supposed to be a jack of all trades and a master in none, but she just kind of flops it at everything she does. And what's also becoming increasingly clear here is that Meghan might be suffering from what media insiders call overexposure fatigue. Since leaving the royal family, she's appeared across multiple platforms: Spotify, Netflix, Archwell, and now Instagram with their brand, and each launch is accompanied by high-gloss marketing, but very low follow-through. Dude, it's like dating chicks who were clubbing in the 90s. Even fans are starting to express concern over the always launching, never landing problem. What is she, SpaceX? It's not just the public that's tired of the cycle. It's the media, the platforms, and potentially even her collaborators, and, the rest of the world.
That by now she's had so many brands, so many different projects, so many names that we're losing count. It's overwhelming, and she seems all over the place, and I'm exhausted for her.
Meghan Markle just can't seem to land a hit. From her flop podcast Archetypes to the overpriced jam in her As Ever brand, everything she touches feels like a desperate rebrand. She's not building anything. She's just trying on different hats, hoping that one finally hits. It's like throwing spaghetti at the wall. Unlike real entrepreneurs who put in the grind, Meghan jumps straight into luxury, hoping the royal sparkle will sell $20 jars of jam to normal people. Spoiler alert, it's not working. You compare that to Rihanna's Fenty or Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop. Those brands didn't launch with fanfare, they earned it. They built trust, they stayed in their lanes, and actively delivered value. Meghan, she's selling jam with luxury branding and no story. It's all style, zero substance. One reviewer even said the raspberry jam tasted too sweet, oddly acidic, and nothing like what was promised. So who is she really selling to here? Because middle-class people aren't shelling out $30 for a fancy spread. Oh, and rich folks, they're not even buying into her sob story. They just don't care.
This is dumb. Spoiler, it might be time for her to concentrate on a new formula. That's putting it nicely. So they're saying it's more of a dessert sauce rather than meant to be eaten on a piece of toast.
And while she's clearly passionate about her projects, audiences aren't connecting. There's a gap between the image and the execution, which leads us to the biggest question of all. Is Meghan's Netflix deal actually in jeopardy? Please God, say yes. Okay, here's what we actually know. The current content isn't delivering big numbers. You don't say. Netflix executives are reportedly frustrated. A second season of With Love, Meghan was greenlit, but under pressure to perform and the overall brand image isn't hitting home with viewers. That is not a great combo. It's like pineapple and sardines on pizza. But nothing has been publicly canceled. And with Meghan reportedly entering talks to pivot her content, it's clear that she's not walking away without a fight. Honestly, at this point, she probably can't financially afford to. Netflix isn't out of this yet, but the grace period is definitely over. So, what's next for Meghan? Well, she could rework With Love, Meghan into something more grounded, less perfection, more personality, except she has none. I mean, think about it. Behind the scenes chaos, unfiltered moments, a little humor. See, that's the kind of content that people would actually want to watch these days. Or she could just abandon the whole fake lifestyle route and dive deeper into documentaries, scripted content, or social issues. Things that she's actually, shown a modicum of skill in navigating before. She could also do a special about being a failed actor. But you know what? Either way, she's gonna have to earn her audience this time. Fame alone isn't gonna carry the content. I'm looking at you, Borderlands movie. Look, man, building a media empire from scratch ain't easy, but when you come in with royal headlines, global attention, and $100 million check, expectations are high. With Love, Meghan was supposed to be the next chapter in Meghan's reinvention. Instead, it became a cautionary tale about overbranding, overpromising, and under-delivering. As for the conflict with Netflix, it's real, it's behind the scenes, but it is definitely real.
But then the Netflix insider claims that the Montecito startup has proved to be a logistical nightmare after the 11th hour name change from American Riviera Orchard, and also because they just have no idea how well her products will sell.
So let's see if season 2 changes the story, or if this is just another short-lived chapter in Meghan's Hollywood saga. Cause come on, dude, at this point, it's not just about the views of critics, it's about credibility. The spotlight Meghan once effortlessly commanded is now casting harsher shadows, revealing the cracks behind the polished veneer. If she could pivot, reconnect with her audience, and finally deliver on those early promises, there's still a chance to turn things around. But if not, season 2 might be remembered not as a comeback, but as the quiet fade out of a brand that never quite found its footing and died in the tar pits of history.